So if we're looking at 9-4, everything what we did before was arithmetic or arithmetic. Now that we're doing geometric, before in our sequences, you always added a difference to get to the next number. What do you think is our trend here? Are we adding the same thing to go from 2 to 6 and then 6 to 18? We're now multiplying. So with the geometric sequences, we're now multiplying by something. 2 times what gets me 6? 6 times 3 still gets me 18? Yeah, so use your calculator. 18 times 3. Yeah, 54 times 3. 162. And 162 times 3? 486. And what I like to write myself is I like to go like this. Boom, times 3. Just so that I know, like, hey, that's how I got there. Now they want to know the 20th term. How could we do that? Could we do this with our calculator and take a while?
Would it be 2 times 3 and minus 1?
Okay, so you're so close. She's trying to come up with that equation, which is in the bottom part. This is so good. You're so right. You're saying, all right, to find that 20th term, you took what we started with, which was a 2. And that might not be showing up right. And then you said we're going to multiply that by the D or the rate in this time, which was a 3, right? And then, as a little different from what it was last time, Abs, we're now going to raise it to that 20th minus 1. You said times that 20th minus 1? Agreed. So if I went to my calculator and I go type that in, 2 times 3 to the 19th. Whoa, look at this answer. Gah. Tell me what you get when you guys type that out. You get times 10 to the 9th? Or do you get, I got an E in mine. So mine and my calculator didn't have an E. Will you read me the numbers, Kay, that you got?
3, 2, 4, 5, 2, 2, 9, 3, 4.
Perfect. So when I always do this from my calculator, you guys, I always write it out. Then I start at the beginning and I go back and I go every 3 and I put myself some parentheses. It's not a parenthesis, a comma, just so that it's an actual number. I wish our calculators put commas. I don't know why they don't. But this would be 2,324,522,934. Could I have gotten that by taking 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. So that's what we had. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Uh-oh. You guys, I must have typed it in wrong because didn't I have it right here? I typed in too many 3s. But it's going to get you the same number if you did that. Or do we want to come up with the formula to help us do it? For sure, right? So let us actually, I'm going to have us write the formula right beneath it. How we write that is we say A of n is just like Abby said. You take that first term, A sub 1. You multiply it. Instead of D, we call it R now because D was when we added the same thing to get to the next number. R is that rate that we're multiplying by. And then we raise that to the n minus 1. A sub 1 times R to the n minus 1. So that's the formula that we could use so we don't have to type these in our calculators obnoxiously long. What do you think we're doing here? What would be my rate here? Divided by 2, but I always want my R needs to be a multiplied.
Negative.
So dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2, right? Dividing by 2 is the same as saying 48 times 1/2. 24 times 1/2 is 12. 12 times 1/2 is 6. 6 times 1/2? 3. 3 times 1/2. 1.5 times 1/2. 0.75 times 1/2. Nice. So that just finished off that sequence. Now let's use our handy dandy formula to find ourselves that 14th term. So I'm going to say A sub 14. That 14th term will be, what's my A sub 1? 48. What's my R, that rate? It's got to be at half. Yep. Yeah, because we had to cut things in half. To the n minus 1, I'm going to raise this to the, 14 minus 1, or you could just write 13. Let's go type that in our calculator, see if we all get the same 14th term. 48 times 1/2 to the 13th. And then go math, enter, enter. Give it to me as a fraction. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. 3 over 5 twelfths, which is the same as 0.00586. Either way. Well, let's go remind ourselves of that formula. Let's bring it down right here. We got a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. There we go. Now check this out. Do we know what the r is?
No.
We don't. But do we know what a sub n is the last term? Yeah. So you guys, this time, in order for us to figure out what those middle ones are, we're going to say, I know what my last term is. I know we've got 2048 there. What's a sub 1? 2. Do we know what r is? We don't. So we've got r to the n minus 1. N is how many terms there are. Do you agree we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms in the sequence? So you could write 6 minus 1 up there, or you could write 5. I don't care either way. How could we start solving this guy for r? Divide by 2. 2048 divided by 2 leaves me with 1024. You might know that from the 2048 game. And then are you cool with me saying that's the same as r to the 5th now? Then how would I get r by itself? Yeah, the square root of 5 or the 5th root. So I'm going to hit math 5 to be able to take the 5th root of 1024, and I get r was 4. I love the sound of you guys pushing buttons because that means that you're showing that you're trying. My r is 4. What does that mean? How is that going to help me get my next number? Yes, that means that's what we multiply by. So 2 times 4 would get me 8 times 4 times 4 times 4. Beautiful. I got r was 2. Yeah? 9 times 2? Times 2? Times 2? Times 2? Which is a nice check that I like to have there. Guys, that's it. That's geometric sequences for you. Shall we all go do that back page? I haven't done it yet, so we're going to just meet up. Well, I'll just fill in as I go, and you guys can check your work.